Elon Musk just announced a new Tesla, and I'll explain why this is actually quite a bit more bullish than it appears, and the stock is definitely loving it right now. You will want to click the like button for this. The new Tesla is a Model 3 version available in America. It has 363 miles of range for just $35,000. That's if you include the US tax credit. The 0 to 60 speed is also improved. The old rear-wheel drive version could only do 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. This one can do it in 4.9 seconds, and the range is so much more. Look at this. You almost get 100 more miles. Even compared to the old all-wheel drive long range, this one has about 20 miles more range, which is significant. Also remember that the standard Model 3 rear-wheel drive doesn't qualify for the federal tax credit, but this one, Tesla confirmed, does. So that's definitely bullish. This new Model 3 is $4,000 cheaper when taking that into account compared to the old rear-wheel drive. And investors agree it's a big deal, but here's why I think it's actually more bullish than people think. Remember this from Q1 earnings call? We've updated our future vehicle lineup to accelerate the launch of new models ahead of previously mentioned start of production in the second half of 2025, so we expect it to be more like the early 2025, if not late this year. Many speculated it's not going to be a completely new model that Tesla will launch. It will just be like a Model Y, but a refreshed Model Y, or a Model 3, but a rear-wheel drive Model 3, and same with the Model Y, maybe a version with more range, but basically the same car, just a different trim, an improved trim. At this point, I think it would be incredibly difficult to justify that position still, because then Elon Musk would have said, well, we are releasing a new, more affordable model, basically in the next few months. And because it does qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, it is technically cheaper. So it appears to me that Tesla indeed is going to unveil a completely new vehicle later on, hopefully still in the beginning of 2025. And if you look at this specific Elon Musk quote from the earnings call, he doesn't even mention the word more affordable, so any new sort of trim would technically qualify. So I see this new Model 3 version is really bullish for Tesla, which is not really specifically about this version, but let's check out what impact does this version really have on Tesla's finances overall. This will drive additional volume at the lower price point and better range. However, it will also cannibalize the higher long-range all-wheel drive Model 3. James answered if he sees this as a price cut, maybe a small one, not a big deal if it can drive volume. I think it's very good value for the consumer, which it absolutely is. I think this is actually the best value Tesla you can buy right now if you don't mind a sedan. The model trim mix for Model 3 will change negatively, but hopefully benefits from higher volume offset it overall. And the new Model 3 has much more range than it appears on paper due to the new, more conservative EPA methodology. I bet this thing could do 400 miles of city driving, 100 to 0% in battery in ideal conditions. AJ estimates that this new Model 3 variant is likely to boost US Q3 sales by 10,000 units and $400 million in revenue. And if you include the tax credit, Tesla's new Model 3 variant is Tesla's lowest price vehicle, but with the second longest range of all models, even when you include the Model S and the Model X and the Model Y trims. So if you need extra range, this is a clear choice for you. At the same time, Tesla also dropped the price of the wide interior option in the Model 3 rear-wheel drive version and the long-range all-wheel drive version from $2,000 to $1,000 in the US. By the way, this is a new channel. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, but later all the videos here will be political, so if you don't want to see that, don't subscribe. Tesla videos later will be back on the Tesla channel. This is just temporary to get some momentum. And here's a very important update from Elon Musk about FSD. The amount of testing time it takes to figure out if the new AI is better than the existing AI, as measured by miles between interventions, is the limiting factor on progress. The better FSD gets, the longer it takes to find interventions. I can't wait to try this latest FSD build, because on 12.3.6 I get a safety related intervention at least once an hour, so it wouldn't seem to be so hard to figure out if another version is better. And not just simple city driving. If I go downtown during the rush hour, I will definitely have more than just one safety related intervention every hour. But Omar replies with, yeah, I can see that. I was trying to find a safety critical intervention today and drove for 95 minutes before giving up. Seems like you really need to scale up the fleet and users. Maybe include FSD by default and charge per trip or per day to turn it on. Omar here says, I had a Tesla bull, not a bear, a bull. Tell me that there has been no improvement in FSD for months. Mind you, this person doesn't have a Tesla. When I said 12.4 is actually much better than 12.3, they called me a liar. When even the bulls don't get it, we are early. If you have a small, tiny position in Tesla stock, okay, I don't think you really need to own FSD, but if you have millions of dollars in Tesla stock and you don't have a Tesla with FSD, and you're not really bullish about FSD, maybe you should get a Tesla with FSD. To me, this just seems like a critical piece of information that would be missing from one's data. However, I can find some people that are not having the best time with this latest FSD build compared to 12.3.6. I need to get my hands on this latest version to see for myself. In the meantime, check out this gaming place. This is amazing, except these are actually all robotaxis in China from Baidu. Yeah, well, this one guy doesn't have his hands on the steering wheel, but look at the other guys over there. This one does, and I can see other people as well with their hands on the steering wheel. They are supposed to be off the steering wheel. I am pretty sure that there is no one at Tesla's headquarters sitting in front of a computer like this when I turn on my FSD. Also, potentially this could be driving Tesla stock a little bit higher. Citi has increased their Tesla stock price target by 50% to $274, up from $182, while keeping a neutral rating. So the stock went up, so therefore we better increase our Tesla stock price target. But maybe they actually said something of substance. So let's take a look. The analyst has been more constructive on near-term investor sentiment around Tesla, but says the strong stock run-up adds greater reliance on looming electric vehicle product and artificial intelligence catalysts. The Q2 delivery beat was also encouraging, which prompts increased estimates and supports Citi's underlying call for improving EV sentiment this summer. However, the firm believes core EV fundamentals alone are unlikely to support significantly further upside from here in Tesla shares, absent new product and AI catalysts. Oh, but today, we sort of learned indirectly that a new Tesla product is coming. Definitely. It's not just going to be a Model Y with a few more miles of range or just a slightly cheaper version of it, like some have previously speculated. But that's okay when Tesla stock rallies again 50% higher, 100% higher, 200% higher. These guys from Citi will just keep increasing their Tesla stock price targets based on where the stock already is. They didn't really say anything of substance there, and maybe our prior target being 50% off is a problem, is what I really got from this note. But regardless of that, these price target increases do help the stock price a little bit. I'm just surprised it took so long for Citi. Ooh. Union threatens strike at Tesla Giga Berlin after contentious meeting. So this could escalate? We don't want another strike in Europe. A powerful German union has threatened a potential strike at Tesla Gigafactory Berlin after a contentious meeting with management. There's a push happening right now at Giga Berlin to unionize the factory. But earlier this year, the new elected people at Giga Berlin voted against unionizing, although the pro-union people have made some progress. Tesla, however, unveiled this new gym at Giga Berlin, and it's pretty cool. There's also a new rave cave at Giga Berlin. At the meeting, when plant manager took the stage, he complained about coffee mugs disappearing from the plant. I'm just going to give you a figure. We've bought 65,000 coffee mugs since we started production here. 65,000, statistically speaking. Each of you already has 5 coffee cups at home. I'm really tired of approving orders to buy more coffee cups. The crowd laughed, but the manager seriously said that he would take away cutlery from the break break rooms if it continued. IG Metal Union Secretary stated that a strike is a possibility amid tensions between workers and the management, but it would be a last resort. A strike at this moment seems unlikely, but certainly we are closer to a potential strike right now than before. This is just hilarious. Big publications are actually reporting on this. 65,000 mugs have gone missing at Tesla's German factory. Elon is well aware. He says, "We were mugged." The local state office for the environment was expected to approve the first part of Tesla Giga Berlin's expansion plans by fall 2024. However, local media reports hint that the approval will be delayed. Some reports suggest that this is happening because Tesla cut a lot of people, and because of that, some people who were working on this issue weren't working on it anymore. So it doesn't seem like anything serious at all. This expansion is fairly important for Europe because of the higher tariffs put on Chinese-made cars imported into Europe. On July 9th, Ross Gerber said it's hard not to be a bull long-term on Tesla, but now he says more broken promises. We knew no one at Tesla was prepared or ready to launch a robotaxi, just like the many promises about Cybertruck that never materialized. It's interesting how fast Ross can change his sentiment on Tesla. Now, about the robotaxi date change and the delay, I didn't see Elon deny the change in the date, so I assume it's definitely true by now. But Kathy Wood has a rather bullish take on this whole robotaxi situation and the delay.
16% of the flagship ARC innovation is Tesla. I mean, are you looking to increase that weighting? Is there a maximum cap within the strategy for a single stock?
Now, normally, we will start taking profits well before 16%. But the reason we have let Tesla run, we've taken some profits, but let it run to a higher percentage than normal of the portfolio, is because that Tesla is about to give us a lot more information about the robo-taxi opportunity. Now, originally, August 8th, so 8/8, and I know in China that's a very lucky number. And we thought that that's why Elon chose the date. At first it was August 8th. Today they pushed it to October. And that just tells me that we're probably getting closer to this robo-taxi opportunity, not further away. He wants to show us something more, I think, awe-inspiring than we might have seen on August 8th, and he believes it's possible by October.
There's maybe a tiny chance that the event is actually not going to be delayed. It's a bit weird that Elon Musk reposted this. The legacy media is a propaganda machine. The amount of false stories that the media spreads about Elon and Tesla is incredibly high, and if Elon were to debunk every single one of them, he would be busy all day. After watching Tesla, the media, and the Tesla stock movement for more than a decade, I can say false stories are often used from MSM to create attention and revenue, and short sellers initiate them to bring the stock down, and both parties make money with it. No one has ever held these parties accountable, so it should surprise no one that they continue their practice, which is, by the way, often used when the stock rallies. The timing would be, I don't know, this wouldn't look favorable on Elon Musk to post that if the rumor that the mainstream media just started is actually true. I mean, Elon Musk is obviously telling the truth here. The legacy media is a propaganda machine, no doubt about it. It's just, if the rumor is true, it would have been a little bit better to wait for a few days and then post something like this. Reading the comments and the replies, there's definitely some hope still that people have about the robotaxi event not being delayed. Elon also posted, the legacy media is literally yesterday's news, to which Farzad replied with, wait, so August 8th was moved 3 days ago? That's a good one, Farzad. That's a good one. I like it. There's also a good debate about FSD here. James says, I'm not sold on FSD, and here's why. If the benchmark is Waymo, Waymo had an intervention rate of 1 per 17,000 miles in 2023. If the benchmark is collisions, the average driver goes 100,000 miles per collision. Tesla FSD currently requires a safety critical intervention once per 250 to 500 miles at best, like even in Omar's and Chuck's backyards. In the city for me, it's about once every hour here in Vancouver. So depending on what speed I'm going at, let's say it's once every 15 to 40 miles. It's currently a very good driver assistance system, and it excels as one. Rate of improvement is what matters most. In March, I was very impressed by the progress on V12.3 from V11. It's now been several months. Irrelevant what Tesla unveils on August 8th, or if it has been delayed to October, in my opinion, the data is what matters. Here's someone who says I have at least 3 critical disengagements on a 12-mile commute, and he does have 12.4.3. So yeah, there are definitely some mixed reviews about this latest build. I agree with Dylan on this one though. You lost me at benchmark is Waymo. They're not even attempting to solve the same problem. Waymo stats are irrelevant for generalized autonomy. If Tesla wanted to block off a few hundred miles and play the geofence game, they could already, just with the vision approach alone, but they are not doing so. And Omar's take is that Tesla is beginning to leapfrog Waymo in driving comfort and miles per intervention. It is a game-changing product you can use in your car today that can do all of your driving for you. You can now buy a Waymo car that does that for you. I don't think you will get it until it hits you in the face. So currently, Tesla's FSD relies heavily upon maps, with the mapping information designating routing and lane changes. When vehicles encounter difficulties, they are unable to communicate that back to the rest of the fleet. This results in every vehicle encountering the same problem. With FSD V12.5, vehicles will be able to communicate road closures or other obstacles back to the rest of the fleet in real time. This will turn FSD into software that's constantly improving as the fleet gathers more data instead of having to wait for a software update. That's a really nice feature. So I was looking at this and I'm like, wow, do we really still have people like this? This is how I know we are still very early. Bears are still making the argument that FSD is equivalent to Theranos, you know, from Elizabeth Holmes, the thing that failed miserably. It was a scam the whole time, and she has been sentenced to prison. They are making these comparisons despite the fact that it is the most widely used and most powerful self-driving system in the world right now. It will slowly dawn on them that it is real. Elon Musk might be going to war against the European Union, and this could affect us Tesla stock investors as well, because this may affect Elon's image in Europe. So you want to pay attention to this one. The European Commission offered X an illegal secret deal. If we quietly censored speech without telling anyone, they would not fine us. The other platforms accepted the deal. X did not. Electric's Fred is asking for receipts, but this seems to be better than that. We look forward to a very public battle in court so that the people of Europe can know the truth. Jeff Lutz is really upset about this. This is unbelievable. Why would the US give money away, US grants to Chinese-owned Geely, Volvo parent, and Hyundai for EV production and zero to the American leader in EVs? Tesla, for example, is giving $208 million to the Volvo group. Even Elon responded to this, saying it does seem weird. And Electric's Fred is asking, did Tesla apply? I'm really asking. He means it sincerely. Never mind, this program is for converting existing plants to EV production. Unless Tesla buys one, it wouldn't apply, and Tesla is done buying existing plants to convert. So the supposedly outrageous story is actually, I think there's nothing outrageous here. I mean, would you rather have a plant that doesn't make EVs, or would you rather have a plant converted to one that does? Tesla could just buy these plants, but Tesla chooses not to because it's just better to build one from scratch. There has been a story going around that Tesla no longer sells more EVs in the US than everyone else combined. First off, that is a hilariously high standard to hold them to. Every car will be electric in the future, and that's not bad for Tesla. But I would expect them to continue to sell the majority of EVs in the US for several more quarters, given that in the first half of this year, they introduced a new Model 3 with significant headwinds to volume from the product transition. Model 3 registrations in the US were down as much as 50% in some months. Every publication and pleb talking about this literally doesn't understand basic math. The only number that really matters is Tesla's percentage of the overall auto fleet, not just EVs. Now, I think both of these numbers are important, but obviously The much, much more important number is the overall percentage of the whole market, not just EVs. EV market share will naturally come down as more players enter the market. And by the way, this is a good thing for Tesla because it helps Tesla achieve its mission. But I still look at the EV market share number because it shows how is Tesla doing relatively to other EVs. But having a market share number over 20% is just whoa. And in the US, it is well over 20%, but it now is below 50%. It is, however, a bit wild that in China, Tesla has become the new face of state-owned companies and government in its vehicle procurement catalog. So don't just look at the US, look at other markets too. The Cybertruck sales are becoming somewhat significant. In fact, Tesla Cybertruck drove the US EV prices higher in June. The average price for a new EV was $56,000 in June, an increase of about 0.9% compared to May. So it increased by about $500. Cybertruck's average selling price was $112,700 almost. But in June, the Ford F-Series average transaction price was $67,500 roughly. So Tesla Cybertruck will have to come down in price a lot. Wow, Rivian stock is up 10% so far today. So what's happening? Well, the Motley Fool says the reason for the increase is because an investment bank, Mizuho, raised its price target on Rivian to $15 a share. But right now the stock is above that. And Rivian stock is now up 65% since the announcement of the Volkswagen investment. I'm happy for them. Let's see if they can actually sustain this valuation. This is a reminder that the stock is still down 85% from its IPO. That's it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Just keep in mind that this channel later will have political videos. So if you don't want to see that, don't subscribe. But all the Tesla videos will be in a separate Tesla channel. So you won't have to see all the political stuff if you don't want to see that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.